Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on the hood.
Look, harvesting not bodies, harvesting not organs. Got 'em real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello, and welcome to another Mac will Make a Culture Move podcast where we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends. And we're your host, Mark Jonathan.
G.
And as always, we have a wonderful segment for you all today. As y'all can see, make sure you cop a white hat. We're going to get into that a little later, though. But yes, as always, we have a wonderful segment for you all today. But before we get started, if we can have our brief disclaimer.
Okay, y'all. So here on the Make a Culture Move podcast, we talk about a little bit of everything, and sometimes it can be a little controversial, like today's topic, police versus Black people. And so we just ask that if something said here you don't agree with or makes you feel some type of way, before you jump down our necks and come for us, think about that and evaluate why you feel that way, and then hit us up and we can talk about it. You feel me? We like to talk about things and work things out so that we can make our next move our best move. But with that being said, first, because me and Mark, we always be forgetting to do this, but we finna get better. Check in with me, Mark. How you feeling? Check in with me. How you doing?
Hey, like I said earlier, I can't complain. You feel me? Alive and well. A lot of people can't say that, so I'm just blessed to see another day. Really, how about yourself?
Amen. Hey, I'm right there with you. You feel me? Alive and well, and not a felon. So I am amazing. You feel me? I'm feeling good. So, but yeah, with that, we can go ahead and jump into what we're talking about. I'm gonna talk about Daunte Wright last.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
sounds good. So I could start with my topic.
That's cool. Let's go ahead and get it.
All right, people in the comments, people viewing, please let us know how your day is today as well. You feel me? While we talk about ours. But jumping into this, so all of today is gonna be a combination of Black news and our discussion time. So we just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. And before, that's actually good that we started with mine because I thought this was very interesting, and I feel like it brings up a lot of interesting points, for instance. So I'm gonna play the video first, and then I definitely got something I want to say about this. So boom.
Okay, that's all right. Just keep it on. Just get there right quick. Just there. Put your hand on the steering wheel. No. What are you reaching for?
Whoa. Hey, get out of the car, man. You got a gun right there.
Whoa.
There's rights to this.
Get out.
There are rights to this. Do you have a
There are rights to this.
Whoa, get out.
Hold up right there.
It's open. My hands are up. No, you got
This is on
body cam. You have a body cam, sir.
Put your hands over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam?
Put your hand over your eyes.
You have a body cam, sir.
Put your hands over your eyes.
Body cam, sir. Yeah, you gotta
I will send this dog on you.
I will shoot you if you do.
Don't.
Fucking grab that gun. You have rights. Put your hand. You have rights too. You have rights too.
Don't you dare.
You have rights. You can't
Don't you
shoot me
dare.
here. You need to Constitution. You know it. Wait, you have a weapon, okay? Yes, I
Don't.
do. It is
Don't.
what I need you to do. Hey, you guys
Listen.
grab me on this. Is also a Constitution. Body cam request. Can you quit yelling so I can talk to you?
Give me more units right now.
I need you to relax for me. I will shoot you if it's possible. That's a threat, so open that. You have a body cam. You know this. He has a hands are open. My hands are open. You need to get out of the car so we can remove you from that weapon. You cannot. No, it is constitutionally owned. I see that. You have a concealed carry permit. It's not concealed. Yes, you can see the weapon. It's right there.
Don't do it.
Okay. Don't do it. I'm not doing anything.
Do me a favor. Just please step out of the car. That's all we're asking you to do. Yes.
Conceal your weapons, please.
No.
Please?
Please how we act civilly. You know
Sir.
this. Right eye! Right eye! You got cover?
No. Just,
Yes, we do.
don't. Just please.
You have body cam.
Please.
You have body cam.
Put the gun away.
Do it.
You know that. You know that. That's not
Please.
I need you to get out of the car.
Then house.
Hey, I see double blue, sir.
This is
You
crazy.
see me on double blue?
Just relax.
No,
Please
just relax. Hey,
Just
there's
please
rights
get out of the
to
car.
this. There's rights to this. You know there are rights to this.
Listen, we can figure this out.
We can talk about this,
Oh,
okay?
this how you
But right
feel
now,
about this.
we can't
Listen.
talk about it with you not listening to us.
Just,
We're not listening. You're not first with the driver.
all I'm asking you to
You're
do,
violating my rights right now. Let go of me.
You just put your hand on a gun,
sir,
Whoa. No, you pulled a gun on me constitutionally.
please,
And I did my in response. Oh,
we don't want to
Please.
do this, man.
just
okay?
get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out. Just
you release me now. How did you release it? Excuse me. This right here is the reason I'm getting myself past the doctrine. You know that.
We'll get this figured out. No, well, please, just come.
Get out of the car, sir.
Just get out of the car. Step out.
The gun's down.
No, just step out.
Get out of the car.
Just step out of the car. Just step. Don't do it.
Get out of the car.
You're on double blue. You know what's going to happen, right?
Just stop.
You need to get out of the car. That's a
No, I
lawful
don't.
order. You're going to go to
What,
jail.
a gun? Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just
You're obstructing.
You're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we
I
have.
don't even see body cam on this, sir. I'm just going to drive
It
away.
gets
I'm not going to
worse.
bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
He said, I'm just gonna drive away.
Don't.
Does he drive away?
So boom,
He drove away.
he drove away.
He drove away. That's not even the craziest
So-
part of the whole video, though.
I'm trying to tell you. So just a few things I want to point out for those who whether couldn't hear the video, whatever the case may be. He threatened the officer twice. He said out loud,
I will shoot you.
"I am going to shoot you."
I will shoot you.
The officer saw his hand on his gun.
On the gun. An actual gun. Not a Skittles bag, not a hat, not a brush, not a wallet.
And then he's allowed to drive away,
He drove
resisting
away.
arrest.
He said, "Close." He said, "Get off of me." He said, "I have rights. I will shoot you. I'm just gonna drive away."
So, G, what this says to me, you feel me? And first I want to say,
What the fuck?
yeah, but honestly, it shows me that the officers are more than capable of de-escalating a situation.
More than capable.
But it also shows me that they just pick and choose when to do it.
Exactly.
This man was clearly threatening.
I will shoot you. He said it. He said it.
Clearly threatening. And then we see cases way too often where someone is walking away from an officer yet fears for his safety, or
And they shoot
is
him in the
literally
back.
doing anything or begging them not to shoot you,
Hands
not
up,
to
don't
shoot them,
Get off my neck.
and
I can't
still feel
breathe.
threatened. And they still feel threatened, but this man makes a clear and obvious threat
And then
and
drives up.
has the ability to drive off. And
Has the
I want to
ability.
make this clear. I'm not really saying that he should have been shot and killed. What I am
No.
saying is that,
They should have dragged that motherfucker out the car.
but
slammed
before
him
you
down.
kill Daunte Wright or others that's been tragically murdered due to police feeling threatened, that was the opportune time
To say I
to
felt threatened.
use your force. The man threatened you. He made a clear statement, "I will shoot you."
And put his hand on his gun. I mean, an actual gun, not a BB gun, not a water gun, not a toy gun, not a wallet, not a hairbrush, not a Skittles bag. It was a gun. It was an actual gun, and said the words verbally with authority.
And conviction.
And conviction. I will shoot you. I have rights. I will shoot you.
But police have been on camera shooting someone that was begging them not to shoot them, and felt more threatened than they did with this guy. This is honestly crazy to me. You feel me? I just wanted to play this video first to kind of lay down a basis of everything we're about to hear and see now. Because again, this shows me good and well that police officers are more than capable of de-escalating the situation, or at the very least not using gun violence. These men, watch this man place his hand on his pistol, proceed to close his door, and then drive away. And after the man said, "I'm just gonna drive away," they said, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that. I mean, do you know how many officers I wish would show half of the respect for a human being that this man showed him? We did a segment a couple weeks ago. What if they were black? What if they were white? I'm sorry. This is a clear example of if they were white,
what would happen?
He would have his life.
He would have his life. He got to drive home to his family or whoever he drove home.
Do you know how many unarmed black men have been killed? And this man is clearly armed and is able to drive away.
Here, sit up here with it. Sit up here.
America.
I'm trying to tell you, I just wanted to lay that down for a sort of basis of this conversation, because I was in complete shock. I was in complete shock. This white man placed his hand on his pistol, told the cop, "I'm going to shoot you." Twice. Twice. He said it twice. And then is able to drive away after resisting arrest.
He told the cop to let go of me. The cop let go, and they told him to get out the car. And he said, "I'm going to drive off." And they said, "Don't you do it." And he closed his door. They watched him. He got a distance in slow motion, kind of like he closed his door, and they watched him close the door. And then he started the car. He started the car after closing the door, and then drove off.
And again, I just want to, because this still shocks me to this day. The officers saw the man's hand on his pistol.
On the gun.
That's strike one. You feel me? Then he verbally said twice.
If he was black, that would have been a shot right then and there. It wouldn't have even gone any
exactly.
further. You place your hand on the gun, they would have shot him right there.
Exactly. Boom. And then to verbally say, "I'm going to shoot you,"
they would have let off in the car.
You now literally have every right. You now literally have every right to protect your life.
To protect your rights as a police officer.
Exactly.
Had that man been black, every officer that was standing at that car when he said, "I will shoot you," they would have let off into the car had he been black. They would have let off. All of them. You're gonna shoot who? Who you gonna shoot? That's what they would have did, and they would have let off into the car had he been black. Watching him place his hand on the gun, they would have let off in him. Whoa,
exactly,
it's a gun. Shoot.
Man, and then the officers were so cordial, the entire time. This man didn't just threaten them twice. But let that have been a black man. They raising their voice, getting aggressive first. The whole nine, man. This is just crazy.
They would have snatched him out the car. They would have
Absolutely.
snatched him out the car, threw him down, put their necks in his throat, in his ribs.
And
It would
had
have
he
been
moved a
another
muscle,
George
he would have
Floyd.
shot him.
Move.
And then this man maneuvers his arm away from the officer, which right there is resisting arrest. Right there.
You're
It's resisting arrest.
resisting.
As soon as you say no, I'm not doing that, that's resisting arrest. And they still treated this man with the utmost respect. Like he
Like
didn't
he
just
was the
threaten their life.
president. Like he was
I'm
the
trying to tell
president.
you.
Like what?
But again, this shows us clear as day that the officers are more than capable of de-escalating a situation, which is their job. They are to
It goes to
protect and
show that
serve.
we are the targets. We are the targets. We
Absolutely.
are their aim targets. We are who they are looking for to kill and to arrest and to get off the streets, when really we're not even the thugs. Like
Man,
we're not the savages, you know, we're not the problem. We're just not. I'm sorry. We're
man,
not. Like I don't really care how much ruckus we cause. We are not the problem. It's not us. It's not like we are targeted. There's a target on our blacks as black people every single day that we wake up. Every single day that we wake up, there's a target on our back that we and it's crazy because it's like every spot on our back is the red dot. It is the red dot. Anywhere you hit, anywhere you hit is gonna take us. It don't matter where you hit. It's a target everywhere.
exactly.
It's the target is red on each layer of us. They want to take us out. They want to eliminate us.
Exactly.
They want to draw us nearer to being extinct. Because we see clearly that they have the mental capacity to do their job
Man,
properly and appropriately, where they don't have to take innocent lives. The thing is, they kill
and it's clear as day they can do so.
They kill unarmed black people like a ritual. Unarmed. And this man was clearly armed. And then said twice to the police officers, twice, I will shoot you. I will shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the?
How could you not feel any more threatened?
So when we say that the police fits the description of being black murderers, y'all fit the description. You look like somebody who's out to get me. You look like somebody who's who wakes up and just wants to kill me. You fit the description.
Absolutely.
In your uniform, in your police uniform. I don't see protect and serve when I see a police uniform. I don't see a savior or any of that when I see somebody in a police office in uniform. I don't see none. I don't see fear either, because I don't fear anyone but God, but I damn for sure don't see protection. I'm not gonna call the police to protect me. If I call the police, it's because
Exactly.
there's literally nobody else in the world for me to call. I ain't got nobody else to call. If I'm gonna call the police, what am I gonna call the police for? For them to make matters worse? That's what I think the police is gonna do. You call the police, they're finna show up and make things worse. They're finna take a small situation and make it worse, or take a big situation and make it worse. No matter what, they're gonna add what is it, kerosene to the fire. Yeah, and make it bigger and make it bigger. They're always gonna add more. Like it's crazy. Stop.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But kind of just segueing into what G was alluding to, that whole the description piece. I just got another quick video.
Uncle's coming right back.
of assuming guilt. You feel me? So, boom, go ahead.
Part of the disturbing incident from May of 2019. The LAPD was responding to a domestic violence call. But police spot Austin from their vehicle, taking out his trash.
Turn around because I told you to turn around. Oh, bro, I live here. Got a call. We got it. Okay, man. I don't know who I'm looking for yet. Come on, step. Turn around, man. What is your problem, dude?
You hear the officer admit he doesn't have a suspect description, but continues to arrest Austin, who continues to question the police. Tensions rise.
Shut up! Shut up, dude. What are you doing?
Austin yells for help. His girlfriend says she heard Austin's screams from the shower and rushed outside, trying to intervene, and ends up in the struggle and is disrobed in the process. Both were arrested. The couple is now suing the city of Los Angeles.
What was your reaction once you went back and actually saw it all play out and you got to actually hear the officers in the car?
It's a clear case of racial profiling.
We should not rule up and immediately think that this person is a criminal. And unfortunately, that's exactly what LAPD did.
Neither Los Angeles police nor city attorneys are commenting to ABC News. Austin fought for the release of this footage and says he's...
So the video continues to say that the neighbor who initially called in the incident pulled up to the scene and told him that that wasn't him. And the officers still went on with the arrest. But if you notice in the beginning, as they were pulling up, one of the officers says, "Is that him?" And he clearly says, "I don't know, probably." And then as they're arresting him, the officer says, "I don't even know who I'm looking for."
Could be a white guy. I don't know.
No
It could be a
description
white
at
guy.
all, and you make an arrest.
Make it make sense.
And then the person who called it in tells you clearly that that's not him, and then you continue to arrest.
Make it make sense.
Man,
Make it
it's
make
exactly what
sense.
you were talking to. You know, they assume guilt.
Just
How do you
because
pull
we're
up to a
black.
scene? How do you pull
You
up
have
to a scene?
no physical description of the person you're looking for
I'm
at all.
saying you
And,
just have a location. You see a guy, oh,
and a
I don't know,
crime.
probably.
You have a location and a crime, and you automatically assume that the suspect is black. We can never be the victims. We're never the victims in the police eyes. There's no possible way that we can be the victims. It's not even possible in their eyes. They'll never see us as victims. So you have a crime, you have a location, and no suspect. They automatically assume, well, the suspect's got to be black. Now we're looking for somebody black. But you don't have a physical description of your suspect. So your suspect could be white, Asian. I don't know. They gotta be black. They just gotta be black because black people are all criminals. We're all criminals. That's how they view us. They view us all as criminals.
It could be a woman.
It could be. It could have been a woman. It could have been a woman.
They just said domestic violence.
Exactly. That is the dude. It's bruh. You're gonna assume that it's bruh. You don't even know. It could be a whole ass woman out here because women cause domestic violence too. So you don't know. You can't just assume. Have some facts to back you up. We looking for a 6 foot tall black man in a white t-shirt. You fit that description, sir. We need to talk to you. You kind of fit that description a little bit.
That ain't even close
Y'all
to what
didn't
they
have
did.
that. You didn't even have that.
Man, he walked right up to dude. Hey, could you turn around for me? He says for what? Which is well within his right. What, he just supposed to turn around?
Turn around for what?
in that gives you every opportunity to explain the situation. Okay, we got a domestic violence call. Right there, you should be in your head, oh, we don't really have a description. Do you know anything?
Have you heard
Anything like
anything?
that.
You're outside. Have you heard anything? Can you point us in a direction? Anything like that? But no, y'all immediately assume that this man is your suspect. Instead of addressing him as a bystander, what they should have done as police officers coming to protect and serve a neighborhood and a community, and they should have stopped this man as a bystander. Excuse me, sir. We got a call saying domestic violence is occurring in this neighborhood. We just want to know, have you heard anything? Have you seen anything? No, you haven't? Okay, thank you. That simple. That simple. That simple.
Telling you.
We
And then
don't
you
have a
got two
description. We
people.
don't know if we're looking for a man. I don't know if we're looking for a woman. Have you seen anybody? Have you heard anything? No, you haven't?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
And then you have two people telling you that this man is innocent. He's just taking out his trash, which makes sense because
He
he's
lives
by
there.
the trash can. You feel me? In his house clothes. And he lives there. You got the person that called you guys in the first place telling you that this man is not who y'all think he is.
It's not him.
And the arrest continues.
Because they knew they were wrong, but they didn't. So now that's when they go and they change you feel me, the charges. Well, he was resisting arrest. He was being disrespectful to officers, and he was refusing to comply with our orders. And like, what the fuck?
Exactly. But y'all had no arrest to begin with.
You had no arrest to begin with.
Not with him, at least. Like, go do what you was called here to do.
Oh, so that makes me wonder and question, because they have in place for people who lie to the courts and lie to the police or whatever. It's like a felony or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to lie to the police. You're not supposed to lie to the courts. You get charged. Depending on the level of it, they'll give you felony or misdemeanor. You'll have a crime, community service. A fine, community service, whatever. Right? What happens when the police lie to the police? What happens with these wrongful arrests? What happens to the police officers who presume wrongful arrests? What happens to them? A slap on the wrist and a do better next time. Next time, make sure you get a description first. Next time, do this. Next time, do that. And then here comes next time and they don't do it. And they get another wrongful arrest, or this time maybe even a murder. The police is the problem. The police is the problem. They don't get reprimanded for anything that they do. None of their actions. It's like it's all commendable, everything that they do. When that's not the case, who the hell do y'all protect and serve? What communities, what neighborhoods are you guys policing and protecting and serving? Who?
Telling you, because it ain't us.
It damn for sure ain't us. And then we be in the wrong when we want to police ourselves. We be in the wrong when we want to police ourselves, and we want to do it for ourselves because we gonna do it right. It might be a little wonky and flunky in the beginning, but at least we're not gonna draw down on our unarmed Black people. We're not gonna mistake. We're not gonna mistake a taser for a gun, or anything else for that matter. Anything else for that matter. A Skittles bag, a hairbrush, a wallet,
a phone,
a toy, a phone, a toy gun, a comb.
Feel me? Because clearly when y'all see a gun, y'all don't be the slightest bit threatened.
Clearly it's not the gun that's threatening to you. Clearly it's not a gun. Clearly it's not the gun that's threatening to you. Clearly it's this. It's this permanent tan that we have, this permanent tan that we can't get away from. Y'all pay to get y'all skin to look like this. Y'all pay money to get y'all skin, and to get this color, you gotta pay good money to get this type of color. Y'all pay for that shit. When we're born with it. Y'all made a conscious decision to become police officers. I didn't choose to be black, even though I would if I had the choice. But it wasn't my choice, it was God's. But you made a conscious, willing choice on your own to become a police officer. You chose that for yourself. You could have been anything else in this world, but you chose to be a police officer. And now, good cop or bad cop, in the eyes of most of us, you chose to become a murderer. You chose to put Black people on your list of targets of who you want to see incarcerated, of who you want to see murdered, of who you want to see pulled off the streets and extinct from this world. Y'all made that choice. White cops, Black cops, Mexican cops, Asian cops, all cops, y'all made that choice. It don't matter what your skin color is when you put on that blue uniform. You chose to be blue. You made that choice. And unfortunately, all of you fit the description of a bad police officer because we don't see enough good officers. We don't see enough of them. It's not enough Dr. DeLacy's out here. It's not enough of them.
Man.
It's way more what's the name? Derek Chauvins. It's way more Derek Chauvins out here than Dr. DeLacy's. So disrespectfully, y'all all fit the description of a bad police officer, and I don't trust none of you. None of you.
We assume your guilt.
Guilty by association.
Telling you.
That's what it is.
Because we know y'all are capable.
My headphones died.
You're straight. We know y'all are capable of de-escalating the situation. Like, how did you expect him to react to you telling him to turn around?
How did you expect him to react? Yes, officer.
Exactly. And if he did so, what were you going to say to him? What you should have initially. You're going to say, hey, we got a call about domestic violence. We want to know what you're doing out here. You don't have to arrest him and search him to do so.
At all. They didn't have to escalate the situation at all to just ask him, what are you doing outside, sir?
Exactly. Well, he was just supposed to let you place him in handcuffs.
Willingly? Nobody willingly gets placed in handcuffs unless you're willingly getting placed in handcuffs. You know what I mean? So, you know, nobody just willingly does that unless they're willingly doing it. So, what did y'all expect him to do? Did y'all just expect him to turn? Yes, officer, I'll turn around because you asked me to. No. And the thing, the police need to understand that they fit the description of bad cops. They fit that description, period. And they need to understand that that's how the world is starting to view them. That's how Black people have always viewed them, but that's how the world is starting to view them as well, is that they just fit the description of being bad cops. Like, damn. Can't get a break. Cannot get a break.
Hold on, my connection's tripping, G. If you wanted to segue.
Cool. Yes, we can segue. Yeah, y'all, we'll segue into now, I guess, just talking about Daunte Wright. Those of you who know his situation, those of you who don't know his situation, he was recently killed by a police officer. She mistook her taser for her gun. And you know, basically caused the execution on this young man, Daunte Wright. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into. Let me see here. Hold on, guys. All right. So y'all, first I'm gonna share just a couple of TikToks, and a couple of videos with y'all. I don't know. Hold up.
Okay, so do like this, and we're gonna play questions, and at the
Can y'all
end of
hear
this,
this?
I'm gonna tell you who you're more skilled with. Ready? We're just playing spot the difference. Pretty simple. Okay, ready? So eyes closed. Do you think you'll be able to tell the difference between a cup of sugar and a gallon of milk in your hand? Okay, eyes open now. Would you be able to tell the difference between neon yellow and jet black? Okay. All right, last one. Would you be able to tell the difference between your left side and your right side? Yeah? You guys are already more skilled than a 26-year veteran in the police department who couldn't tell the difference between her taser and her handgun, where she shot 20-year-old Daunte Wright dead in his vehicle and mistaken the handgun for a taser. 26 years on the job, and you can't tell the difference between your left side and your right side, the difference between 8 ounces and 34 ounces in your hand, the difference between a handgun and a taser. Choke. Okay, so do like this, and we're gonna play questions.
She told her to choke. Okay. Now here go another video. This one is just, for a little humor, but it's still real spill, okay? And I wanted to make sure I shared that one real quick because TikTok's probably going to take his down sooner than later because he used his real gotta. There's another one where he used a water gun, but I wanted to use the real spill. And then let me see. I thought I put on here. Plies is a video. I'm gonna get that for y'all though, because I want to show Plies' video too. But getting into this article. So what to know about the death of Daunte Wright? Police officer fatally shot Mr. Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, about 10 miles from where Derek Chauvin is on trial in the killing of George Floyd. Hundreds of demonstrators poured into the streets of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota on multiple nights after the fatal police shooting of Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man during a traffic stop. The shooting injected more frustration and anxiety into the Twin Cities region, where the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with murdering George Floyd, is now in its third week. Here's what we know about what happened in the Brooklyn Center. According to Chief Tim Gannon of Brooklyn Center Police Department, officers pulled Mr. Wright over on Sunday afternoon, then discovered that he had a warrant for his arrest. As the police tried to detain Mr. Wright, he stepped back into his car, prompting a brief struggle with officers, Chief Gannon said. In graphic body camera footage shown to reporters on Monday, one officer can be seen pointing a handgun at him, shouting "taser." After the car pulls away, the officer yells an obscenity and says, "I just shot him." to 2 other officers, according to the video. The car traveled several blocks and struck another vehicle. The police and medical workers pronounced Mr. Wright dead at the scene. It is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet, Chief Gannon said. The Hennepin County medical examiner concluded Monday that Mr. Wright died of a gunshot wound to the chest. Katie Wright, Mr. Wright's mother, told reporters that her son had called her as he was being pulled over. He said that they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rear. Hold up. This, y'all. He said they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror. She said Mr. Wright said her son had dropped or put down the phone, after which she heard scuffling and an officer telling Mr. Wright not to run. Then she said someone hung up. When she called back, a woman who had been in the car with him answered and told her that he had been shot. So just looking at this map right here, the shooting of Daunte Wright, the trial of Derek Chauvin, and then where George Floyd was killed. Y'all see this? This is Minnesota. This is happening in Minnesota. Yeah. Okay, and for Minnesota, this is like their 3rd or 4th killing, since like 2016. The demonstrators clashed with the police at a vigil near the scene of Mr. Wright's death on Sunday. His mother urged protesters to be peaceful. We want justice for Daunte. She said, we don't want it to be all about this violence. But hours later, outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department, protesters chanted and threw bricks and cans at officers. At least 20 businesses inside a nearby mall have been broken into, an official said. Protesters would gather again on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. And on both nights, the police fired projectiles into the crowds after declaring the protest unlawful. The authorities around the region have imposed curfews. So this is a picture of Daunte Wright with his baby. His baby, y'all.
For me, I don't know if this article is going to get into it, but the whole reason there was a warrant out for his arrest was because they sent the notification to the wrong address.
I don't think this article gets into it. I think the CNN one does, though. But yeah, y'all.
And I found the Plies video as well.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, and then the officer who shot him was arrested on Monday. Officials identified the police officer who shot Mr. Wright as Kim Porter, 26-year-old veteran. 26-year veteran, she's been on the force for 26 years, of the Brooklyn Center Police Department. Ms. Porter, 48, then resigned from the police. Her union said in a statement on Tuesday. Chief Gannon also announced his resignation on Tuesday, as he should, because how many more killings are going to go on underneath his watch? How many more killings are going to go on underneath, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the state agency that investigates police killings in Minnesota, said that Miss Potter had been arrested and taken into custody on Wednesday morning. He was shot on Monday. She faces a charge of second-degree manslaughter. Second-degree manslaughter. Right there, they're downplaying his murder. They're downplaying his murder by charging her with second-degree manslaughter. What the fuck? Manslaughter? No, murder. That's the word. Murder.
That's defined as the unlawful killing of another person without implied or expressed malice, which is ill will towards someone. A second charge of second-degree manslaughter also indicates that the defendant had no intention of taking the life of the victim and that he or she took reasonable and ordinary action to prevent victim's death.
And why I say that is why she should still be charged with the murder. You feel me? Plies gets into it in his video. And we're going to talk about it after Plies' video because of how they would have treated it if she wasn't a police officer. Exactly. Just because she was yelling taser, taser, taser. She still had her gun, and shot him with a bullet,
and took it off of safety. You don't take a taser off of safety.
You don't take a taser off of safety. A taser weighs about 8 ounces in your hand.
Mm-hmm. The average Glock average is like 34 ounces, I believe. So that's over 4 times as much as a taser weighs. You would know the difference.
You would know the difference.
Absolutely. Get that out the way.
This just in regards to the shooting that happened with the female officer and the killing of Daunte Wright. And I seen the sergeant or the lieutenant basically saying that he felt after reviewing the body cam footage or the video that he felt the shooting, in his opinion, was a mistake because according to the video, it clearly shows the female officer yelling, "Taser, taser, taser." But once she discharged one round, striking and killing Daunte Wright, according to the video, she yells, "Oh shit, I shot him." So first and foremost, I haven't heard the female officer say herself that she thought she had her taser, but it turned out to be her firearm and she made a mistake. I didn't hear her say that, but maybe she did. But according to the sergeant and the lieutenant, it's clear he's laying the narrative and the groundwork to what he feels she should say or what he feels is in her best interest. So let's just say she did say it. Let's just say what they're saying is correct. Let's just use their thought process. Let me just insert myself now into the equation. Just say I go to sell drugs to a confidential informant, which I would never do. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I go sell drugs to a confidential informant. And when I go to sell him the drugs, I yell, "Weed, weed, weed." But I end up giving him heroin, heroin, heroin. Do you believe the system is going to say, you know what, in this recorded audio or this recorded video, he was yelling, "Weed, weed, weed." But he gave him heroin, heroin, heroin. So we ain't just going to charge him. We ain't going to charge him with the heroin. We're just going to charge him with the weed. You ain't even got to even answer that question because we all know the answer to that. If I give you heroin, 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 and just because I was yelling weed, 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 they still gonna charge my ass with heroin, heroin, heroin. And my ass is gonna be grass, grass, grass.
So,
bro, Plies is a fool, though.
Plies is a fool. I love Plies, though, and I do love, you feel me, our entertainers who keep tabs and, you know, keep up with what's going on, you know, socially in the world and have an opinion on it. It's important because their platform, it's important that they use their platform to speak out on their opinions about what's going on in the world. But move. Like Plies said, you feel me, if he, you know, goes to sell drugs to somebody and he you know, yells out we, but ends up selling him heroin, heroin, heroin. You feel me? They're gonna still charge him with the heroin. You feel me? That's what you sold him. That's what it is. That's the evidence that we have right here. This is the heroin. It's not weed. They're gonna charge him with the weed. So just because she was yelling taser, 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 she still shot him with the gun, and it was a bullet that killed him. And so for her to be being charged with manslaughter and not murder is a problem for me. And they're doing it because she's a police officer. You feel me? No, she did not mean to kill him. No, she did not mean to kill him. Maybe not. Maybe she did it. Maybe she didn't. But from the bird's eye view and from the outsider looking in, it seemed like she meant to kill him because you should know, you feel me? And the TikTok video is that, you feel me, you can tell your left from your right. Your taser's on one side, your gun's on the other side. After being in the force for 26 years, you should automatically know. Go ahead, Mark.
Just to add to that, the gun is not on your dominant side. So you would have to reach out of the ordinary, which is not going to your dominant side. You would have to reach over and pull your gun. There's a reason they keep the taser because it's non-lethal on your dominant side.
On your dominant side, because that's the side you're just naturally gonna go to first. That's the side you're going to naturally reach for first. Is your dominant side. It's just what you're going to do. If you're right-handed, you're going to reach to your right hand, your right side first. If you're left-handed, you're going to reach to your left hand first. That's why they in school, in gym class, when they're trying to teach people hand-eye coordination, that's what they're teaching you. How to be good with your dominance. So you're gonna naturally go to your dominant side. That's why the taser, the less lethal weapon that they have on them, because they have the baton, they have the taser,
Pepper
and they have a
spray.
gun, pepper spray.
All of that.
So before we get to the gun, this pepper spray is gonna be the next lethal. Because pepper spray is lethal. You pepper spray somebody strong enough, it can kill them. It's fatal enough. And then the taser. If you have that taser on a high enough voltage, you can't kill somebody.
Especially if you keep tasing them.
If you keep tasing them. And then you have that baton. Now, the baton, depending on how strong you are as an individual, is going to determine how much pain you can inflict on somebody else. Is how strong you are personally as an individual.
And where you hit them.
So, they got the baton. They got the taser. They got the pepper spray. And then they have the gun.
And
never
every
should
time
they draw the gun unless a gun is drawn on them. Never should they draw a gun. Which we just saw. When the gun was drawn on them, they still didn't do it. The officer put his gun away. That's what blew me. That's what blew me with that video is the officer put his gun away.
After seeing that he had a gun with Daunte Wright, they knew
told that I will shoot you.
Man, and with Daunte Wright, the man doesn't clearly have a gun. Is able to get into his vehicle, and then they do everything in their power to stop him from leaving. Whether if it wasn't her intention or not to draw her firearm, we still saw in the first video, they asked him, please don't do it. Please don't drive away. Please don't drive away. With Daunte Wright, it's taser, taser, taser. But with your firearm, what was so threatening that you couldn't let him leave?
What was so threatening that you couldn't let him leave? Because he had a warrant for his arrest?
That started because you guys sent his notification to the wrong address. That was so threatening. But this white man clearly with a gun. This white man clearly with a gun and stated verbally twice that I will kill you or that I will shoot you.
I will shoot you.
That's not threatening.
That's not threat. You didn't feel like your life was in danger?
Yeah, you're able to let him leave unscathed, unharmed. But Daunte Wright has to get shot, right? Or tased, my fault. That's crazy.
It's disheartening.
That's crazy.
It's like, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm gonna keep saying this. But I truly believe that it's time for us as Black people to all just, move to a couple of them southern eastern states, take a couple of them and fight for sovereignty against the United States. There's no reason why we can't fight for sovereignty. There's really not. There's really not. We have the numbers. Right? There's been enough Black men and women who's been to the military and to the army who knows the rules of that shit and can operate it and get us to do it in a similar manner. We can have our own military. We know we can police ourselves. We know what needs to be done as police officers. We know what their job description is. We can
more than they do, apparently.
And more than they do. More than they do. We already are teachers, professors, doctors, lawyers, physicians. We're already all of those things. So now we just need to be those things specifically, directly, intensely, what's the word? Diligently for us, for our people. Because what? Segregation has been dismantled for 50, 60 years,
Just about.
right? You know, for about 50, 60 years. And how much has changed? How much has changed since the civil rights movement? How much has changed since Dr. Martin Luther King stepped foot out to unite with white people and
We
and and
still
and,
having these
and have
conversations.
change? We're still having these conversations. We're still protesting. We're still marching. We're still fighting. We're still crying. Mothers are still losing their sons. Our black men are still being incarcerated. Our women can't operate without fearing for the lives of their children or their men.
I'm saying, if you watch the Malcolm X movie, they were literally like almost verbatim having the same conversation that me and some of my peers were having. Telling
I
you.
encourage everybody to, try and watch the movie American Skin. Like, it was only streaming on Amazon Prime, and now it's streaming on BET Plus. I don't know where else it's streaming, but the movie American Skin um is one of those movies. Like, for me, certain movies I don't like to watch because it'd be making me want to go, like, kill white people. But this was one of them movies. This was one of them movies. And it's just some of them where it's just like I just can't stand y'all. Like, oh, like 12 Years a Slave was one of those movies that made me just really want to go and just box white people for no reason. The When They See Us, The Hate You Give, all those movies were just movies that just made me want to just go box white people, for no reason. And it's for no reason, but it's a reason. Like, my reasoning is that I just don't feel like y'all have felt our pain enough. Every time I think about anything that's ever happened to black people, one in particular that always gets to me and touches my heart crazy is the Birmingham church burning where the 4 little girls was killed in the church. That one gets to me every time I even think about it. It pops up in my head, and just thinking about how those little girls, they were found holding hands. These girls was like 10 and on down, getting ready to go sing in the choir at church, and they were holding hands and burnt in the fire. That's how they were found. Every time I think about that, I just be thinking like, oh, somebody's white mama needs to feel that pain. I need to feel that pain tremendously. Every time I think about our black men being hung from trees and having their genitals cut off and shoved down their throats, I be feeling like white men need to feel that pain. Y'all need to feel that. Y'all need to know what that feels like. Every time I think about you feel me, the black man being sold away from his family, or the black mother's children being sold away from her in slavery and being taken away somewhere far and different and never being able to see their family again, that shit pisses me off. And I be wanting white people to feel that pain. I be wanting them to feel it. Every time I think about what our people was going through with segregation, you can't sit at this counter, you can't drink from this water fountain, you can't use this bathroom, you can't come into this restaurant, you can't go to this school, you can't get this education, you can't vote, you can't. Every time I think about all the things that they've done to oppress us and hold us back and make us start the race 500 years later, it pisses me off, and I be wanting white people to feel our pain, because in no other way are they gonna be able to truly help until they feel the pain. You can't truly help somebody if you don't know what it feels like for them to go through what they've gone through. They don't know what it feels like to go through all the things that we've gone through. They don't know what that shit feels like. For, as a black woman, to fear the lives of my brothers and my nephews and my boys, to fear for them lives, because I make sure be safe is something that is crucially said in the black community. When you leave an event or a function, or you get off the phone with somebody, it's that I love you, be safe. Be safe. What the hell I gotta be safe for? I should just be safe. I should just be cool. But we have to make sure we say it. Be safe.
Man.
Call me when you make it home. That's a big one. Let me know when you made it home. I need to know you made it home because there's a 50-50 chance you might not make it home because a police officer is going to kill you, or we might have another George Zimmerman situation where a white person just feels like they have that jurisdiction to kill you, or Ahmaud Arbery, because they wasn't police officers either who killed him.
For real.
Just white people who feel like they have that authority to kill black people.
But to stop them from having stuff dangling on their mirror.
What the fuck?
Like, I got my high school tassel on my mirror.
I
Like,
have my mask from my mirror. Make sure I don't
I'm
forget
saying,
my mask. So y'all pulled him over for having that something that almost 90% of drivers have in their car dangling from the
I don't even know it's
rearview
illegal.
mirror.
I don't even know it's illegal. Like, that's crazy.
What? You've got to be kidding me. It's like the police forget that there's real crimes out here for them to be solving. That there's missing children, missing women, missing men, that there's actual serial killers out here that go dormant and then come back years later and then go dormant because y'all are not doing y'all's job diligently enough to catch them.
Rapists.
We're not even thinking about like the big crimes. There's professional thieves out here who steal from museums and who do jewelry heists and all these other things, all these other crimes that y'all can be really trying to put y'all's time into, and here y'all are doing petty traffic stops.
Stop me for something dangling in my mirror. But this Daunte Wright,
Old girl said in the video, choke.
Please, disrespectfully.
Disrespectful.
But this Daunte Wright scenario is almost like a real life representation of Fruitvale Station. It's a real life representation.
You said that. It's just like another. Because y'all, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie.
Real life.
I don't know if y'all have ever seen the
movies.
Fruitvale Station, but with Oscar Grant, which it is based on a true story. I don't know if y'all know the Oscar Grant story, but Oscar Grant was another unarmed black man wrongfully killed by the police. And that movie, I've only seen all the way through one time because it makes me cry like a baby. I didn't even cry like that when I watched Precious, and I cried in Precious.
Precious was a good movie.
You feel me? The Fruitvale Station and the story about Oscar Grant, I've only been able to watch all the way through one time, and I told myself I'm gonna do it again, but it makes me cry so just crazy. So the way it happened, like, dude, black people we can't ride the subway. We can't even ride the subway and be safe. We can't do nothing without having a target on our back. They turned Oscar Grant over in handcuffs and shot this man in his back while he was laying face down on the fucking ground.
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed. And I'm supposed to, yes, ma'am, no, sir, to you white motherfuckers? I'm sorry, excuse my language, but y'all don't understand. It's like it gets to a point where it's like,
and it's ongoing.
When are y'all gonna feel our pain?
And it's ongoing. We've been feeling like this for years.
And it's
repeating.
It's coast to coast.
It's cycles.
Coast to coast. It's going over. That's why we have to break these generational curses. We have to be able to break the small generational curses, because once we break the small generational curses, then we'll be able to move up to the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do it for ourselves. That's why it's so important for us to love each other as a community, right? As a community, love each other as a community. Really fall in love with being Black and fighting for each other and being there for one another. And then white people, all it takes for y'all to do is they have these signs at the zoo that says see something, say something. If you see something, say something.
Because it's clear as
Stop
day.
whatever you're doing. You see a police officer stopping at a black person, black or brown person, whatever you're doing, stop. I don't care what the hell you're doing. Stop whatever the hell you're doing and stop and film it. And be a bystander to whatever is going on. Whether you're a black
Unbiased one
person,
too.
a white person, a brown person, a pink, purple, blue person. If you see a black or brown, an African American, a Negro, a colored person, whatever y'all want to call us, if you see somebody that looks like this being stopped by the police, stop what you're doing and be a bystander to that situation. Because if they're murdered, they'll never be able to tell their side of the story. Never. We'll never be able to hear Daunte Wright's side of the story. We'll never be able to hear George Floyd's side of the story. We'll never be able to hear Trayvon Martin's side of the story. We'll never, ever, ever be able to hear Breonna Taylor's side of the story. We'll never be able to hear their sides of the story. Sandra Bland, Oscar Grant. We can't hear their sides of the story. Like it's crazy. We'll never be able to hear it from their voices, from their perception.
1 second, G. I just want to address this comment. I pray you're still watching, because this is exactly what they should do.
I got you.
This is exactly what they should do.
Watcher.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm sharing with the sound.
Yeah.
So you can hear this white man
pulling that
threatening
up,
with a gun.
oh, he's pulling that up. So, what is an officer to do when a wanted criminal is trying to get back in his car where a gun could be then? Stand still and possibly get shot. No one is defending murder like with Floyd. What is wanted criminal is trying to get back in the car where a gun could be then, right? Could be possible.
Right.
It's possible. Okay, so let's see what happens when there actually is a gun in the car and what the police do.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you are still watching, but we're gonna bring this back just real quick. We're just gonna bring. Hopefully you are
because
still
we
watching.
addressed it in the beginning.
Real quick
We'll
to
go ahead.
show what happens when the officers have a situation and there actually is not what our viewers say. Where there possibly could be, where there could be, maybe, we don't know, there might be, there might not be, but this is a situation where there actually is a gun in the car and what the police officers do.
No.
What are you reaching for?
Whoa. Hey,
Get out of the car, man. You got a gun right there.
Whoa.
Get out of the car.
There's rights to this.
Get out.
There are rights to this.
Do you have a concealed
There are
carry?
rights to this.
Get out.
Hold up right there.
It's open. My hands are up. No,
you got
This is on body cam. You have a body cam, sir?
Put
You have
your
a body
hands
cam?
over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam?
Put your hand over
Do
your
you
eyes.
have a body cam, sir?
Put your hands over
You have
your
a
eyes.
body cam, sir. Yeah, you gotta
I will send this dog on you.
I will shoot you if you do.
Don't fucking grab that gun.
Just in case you couldn't hear that, he said, I will shoot you if you do.
I will shoot you if you do.
That's what the guy said to the officer. And then just for the sake of time, I'll tell you again, he said it twice. And, the title of the video is right here if you want to check it out for yourself. But then please see what this man was allowed to do after he made a clear threat to this officer.
Oh, that's a lawful order. You're gonna go to
What,
jail.
a gunpoint? Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just come on.
You're obstructing.
I can't.
No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir? Right now my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we have.
I don't see body cam on this, sir. I'm just gonna drive away. I'm not gonna bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't.
So, and with the Daunte Wright situation, before you get to shooting a wanted criminal, you have your baton, which in this situation I wouldn't use. I wouldn't use a baton in this situation with Daunte Wright. But then you have your taser, which she yelled, taser, taser, taser. She thought she grabbed her taser, even though your taser's on one side, your gun's on one side. Your taser weighs about 8 ounces and your gun weighs about 32, 34. Okay. And then.
No, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, G. I'm sorry. An armed suspect is not supposed to drive off. But how many unarmed suspects have we seen get murdered by the police.
Unarmed.
This man was clearly armed. They acknowledged it. And then he threatened the man, saying that I was going to shoot you. And he said it twice. The man told the officer,
And
I was going to
Daunte
shoot
Wright,
you.
he could have had a gun in the car, but he didn't. He did not. He did not. When they had to get to the car and pull him out of the car, and they did a search of the car afterwards, there was never a gun in the car. So he possibly could have. But it's the job of the police to protect and serve.
And de-escalate.
And de-escalate. They could have de-escalated that situation, and they could have pepper sprayed him. They could have tased him, as she thought that she was doing. She thought that she was tasing him, which that is on her own fault, because as a 26-year-old veteran on the police force, you should know the difference of what side your gun is on, what side your taser on, because it doesn't change. It doesn't change.
Especially when there's a clear difference in weight. A Glock is 4 times heavier than a taser.
And they don't shoot the same.
I'm trying to tell you.
So
there's no way you could justify
there's
this.
a possibility that this wanted criminal, Daunte Wright, could have. There's a possibility he might have he could have. And how are they supposed to know
the
that
reason the warrant was even issued? The reason the warrant was even issued is because they sent the notification to the wrong address. That warrant is on them,
not him.
That warrant is on them. Had he known that they were looking for him, who knows what would have happened? They sent his court appearance date to the wrong address. That's the whole reason the warrant was even out there. But to your original statement, what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to act? We just saw that they are more than capable. They are more than capable of addressing the situation and not murdering someone. I just showed it for you. And please, if you have the time, check out the video in its entirety. And you will see that the man threatened the officer twice. The officer saw clearly that before the man even peeked into his vehicle, he had his hand on his pistol. Had he been black, he would have been shot there.
They opened his car door and had a hand on him.
He resisted arrest.
And he closed his door and proceeded to drive off. So what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to de-escalate. They're supposed to do their job, which is not murder. They're supposed to de-escalate a situation. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what an officer is to do when a wanted criminal is trying to get back into his car, where a gun could be, but wasn't.
And to this point, they knew this man was armed and still let him drive away. What should they have done then? Because I assume you're saying that they should take all the responsibility and, do whatever they can to stop him from driving. Why didn't they do it there?
It was a murder.
It was definitely a murder.
It was definitely a murder.
Do you know the difference between 8 ounces and 34?
And
obviously one's heavier.
No one is saying she should not take responsibility what she done, and she does, as she should, as every officer who kills unarmed Black people should. She knew she was wrong immediately, because on video, she says, "Oh shit, I shot him." So it's her fault for not knowing the difference between her left and right and being able to tell the weight difference between a taser and a gun. She should take responsibility for her murder. She should take responsibility for the murder of Daunte Wright, because she murdered him in cold blood for being lazy. That was the lazy job she did as a police officer, and not taking the diligence to pay attention to that she had her gun in her hand and not her taser.
And again, clearly the officers are capable
Of
of doing
de-escalating.
so.
They're
They're
clearly
capable. We
capable.
just saw it.
They're clearly capable, 100%. So
Even
they pick and
even in
choose. They pick and choose who it is that they want to kill. They pick and choose.
Are you serious? If I was trained for 26 years as a police officer, I would know my difference
26
between my left
years?
and right.
26 years?
In
20
anything, if you spend 26 years doing anything, you should know how to
anything
do it front and back.
with your eyes closed in your sleep. In her
That
sleep, she
removes
should
split
have been able
decision
to.
because you should be trained to do so. There's a year, at least a year worth of training to handle situations like this. If you are unable to make those split second decisions, you shouldn't be doing the job.
Period. She chose to be a police officer. That
For
was her
26
choice.
years.
For
That's her
26
career.
years. So that's why she resigned. That's why she resigned.
Because she knew she was wrong. Don't defend her for her actions. They're
You
going to
could go
protect
somewhere else
her.
with that.
They're going to
Because
protect
we
her.
stand by the fact that Kim Potter murdered Daunte Wright.
Would she have resigned if she thought she did right? If she thought she made the right split second decision?
If she
And
was doing
again,
her
you're not
due
addressing
diligence as a
the
police
video I just
officer,
showed you. You're not even addressing the video I just showed you. Where you made it a point to bring up what should you do if a wanted person, even though the reason they were wanted is because of them. I just showed you a video and you haven't addressed it yet.
Daunte Wright had a warrant out for his arrest for aggravated robbery for not showing up to court because the court sent his court papers to the wrong address, so he didn't know when he had to show up to court, which is on them, their fault. So you, sir, are sounding very ignorant. Do you understand muscle memory is the face tunnels? Yeah, you sound very ignorant, okay? Because after 26 years of doing something and being having something programmed into your brain,
which is muscle memory.
Something is programmed into your brain, then there are things that you can do in your sleep. And she should be able to know the difference of reaching for her handgun and her taser because she's been doing it for 26 years on the force. She knew very well that she was wrong. That's why she resigned. Period.
Absolutely.
Whether you agree or you disagree, however you feel with I'm not addressing the video because I can show you multiple videos where officers get shot by seemingly calm and nice people.
I believe you, and I actually saw one recently.
I believe you could.
It was
and none of them
tragic.
gonna be black.
But they should handle almost every situation as such. Their job is to de-escalate.
As calm as they were with that white man telling them that he's gonna shoot them twice. That's how calm they should be in every situation. Every single one. They have their guns pointed on him. So if he was gonna pick up his gun and reach for it, they probably would have shot him. Maybe, maybe not, because he did have his hand on the weapon. So you chose your job. We don't choose to be black. You chose to be a paramedic. We don't choose to be black. We don't choose to have police officers wake up and decide, I'm going to kill a nigga today. That's what they do. That's what Kim Potter did. That's what.
And again, it's clear. It's clear that they are more than capable of using discretion, of de-escalating a situation.
More than capable.
I wish more officers would be this calm with someone that they don't know has a gun on them. They were this calm.
How many lives would
be saved? They knew had a gun.
How many lives would be saved?
Had a gun. and still treated her, oh, please don't drive off. You don't have to be in the situation.
I got you.
Bro, listen. You should not sign up to be an officer,
If you're scary.
or if you're unable to make split-second decisions.
If you have any weakness in your bones.
Your job is to protect and serve as a police officer.
To defend.
That means that you are literally signing up to do so. The reason I'm not in this situation is because I didn't sign up to do so.
Period. And I wouldn't.
That's why that point is irrelevant.
Very much so.
I know that I wouldn't be able to make that decision, so I don't choose to do so. I'm 21 years old. I could go into the police academy, but I wouldn't do so. This woman has been in the force for 26 years. And you're telling me that it's a split-second decision into grab, even once you grab your gun. She sat there pointing it at him, screaming taser.
Taser.
What gun do you know looks like a taser? You can quote ideals all you want. At the end, all officers
People make mistakes. Police officers commit murder. People make mistakes. Police officers commit murder. Period, point blank. And that's what that is. And with that being said, thank you for coming to the Make a Culture Move podcast, where we talk about everything Black and all the things that oppress the Black community, and how we can make our next move our best move, and to moving forward and dismantling these oppressions that continue to hinder and hurt our people, as we continuously, vigorously get murdered by police officers such as Kim Potter and Derek Chauvin.
But while you're here,
tune in with us on Monday, bruh.
Yeah, while you're here, please make sure to follow our social media platforms. Make a Chess Move, Make a Culture Move, our virtual artist storytelling, where we have stories just as such. Since you're already on the YouTube, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And make sure you check out our website at www.makeachessmove.org. And again, we are all for the betterment and empowerment of our people while destroying this unjust society. We make sure you have a nice day. We appreciate the discussion. And with that being said,
y'all knock them out there.